Hi there, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Today we have for you the BaristaMaker from DREO, and it is a milk frother. It steams the milk for you. And spoiler alert, and from the beginning I'm gonna tell you this is by far the best milk frother on the market. Now I'm gonna dive into the details why we decided that it's that way, how we tested with all types of different milks, what we've done with it, and how I've been enjoying it so far. But before starting, this video is sponsored from DREO. And because they sponsored this video, we're able to pour all our resources, investing our time into getting this review ready for you in a short time frame. So without further ado, let's start. What is the desired texture for latte art quality milk, let's say? You'll need to have a silky, fully consistent textured milk. It's usually referred to as a paint, similar to paint. So when you reach that level of silkiness of steamed milk, when you pour it into, let's say, a black cup and you rotate the black cup, it will be painting all the walls and the edges of the cup. And even if it's your first few tries or attempts at doing a latte art, if you have that silky steamed milk, it will be super easy to draw at least any kind of drawings of an art. How to achieve that? Even with the espresso machine, you need to have some practice to get used to it. So for instance, when you have the steam wand, a steamed air will be coming from the end tips of it, and you have to lift your milk pitcher just underneath the tip, lift the lever, pour some air into the milk for a few seconds, then lift up the pitcher to make sure that you are rotating and having all the milk consistent, steamed together, mixed with the air that you've inserted in the beginning. It takes some attempts once you get used to it, and you have to also worry about the temperature by making sure that you do not heat the milk so much, because when you reach, let's say, around, like, usually the desired temperature is 70 Celsius degrees, and if you aim for 80, 90 or even the boiling degree, the milk will not be tasting nice. Let's put it in simpler words, no need for complications. Basically, some protein will be breaking when you heat the milk, and it will not taste as sweet, as enjoyable at 70 Celsius degrees. So if you nail your steamed milk, you have good texture, silky steamed texture with an espresso machine, at that point you'll be able to make a beautiful latte art. Even if it's your first few shots at trying a latte art, you'll be able to end up with a decent art, let's say. However, if you don't have an espresso machine with a steam wand, because there are some espresso machines without steam wand, or there are some espresso machine with a normal steaming power, because also you need to have a good pumping steaming power to aerate and rotate that milk. Or if you have a manual espresso machine and you still want to practice and do a latte art, here it comes, the BaristaMaker from DREO. So it's not only about milk, we'll explain that briefly, but let's start with it. Let's speak about it and how it works. Basically, it consists of, let's say, two sections. The first section is the base, where you heat your milk. You have all the programs, the screen, and there's a heating plate and the milk pitcher. So the milk pitcher itself is made from stainless steel. The handle is plastic in order to avoid any burning, because this will heat up. And from the bottom, you have a magnetic base, which allows you to attach one of two attachments. The first, it's kind of the usual milk frothing system. It assists you on making thick, textured, foamy milk, especially for cold ice drinks. When you want to have really thick foam, it does a great job and attaches itself magnetically to the base of the milk pitcher. And the second installment, it's called impeller. It has 3 fins, and underneath that there's a mesh membrane and another 3 circles, also attached magnetically, and this piece is magical. It really does a wonderful job at rotating that and steaming the milk. And you have 4 lines. The first is the minimum, as much as you need to pour milk, because you need to cover those impellers. And above that, you have like the sweet spot for latte art. Above that, the max foam, if you want to have foam. And at the end, max stir for other programs we'll be speaking about. So how to use the BaristaMaker? Basically, just connect it to electricity, the base itself. You place the pitcher, you pour the milk, depending on what you are planning to use it for, and you turn on the screen. And as soon as you turn on the screen, it's really simple and at the same time smart to use. So you have to choose your milk, either normal cow milk or half and half, basically like half cream, half milk, or almond milk, oat milk, soy milk, and coconut milk. So each milk will have a different amount of proteins in it and needs different degrees and different approaches how to get that silky texture. So they kind of pre-program it for you for easier reference. Just choose which milk you have, and underneath that you can choose the thickness of the foam. and it's kind of a program, pre-programmed. So no need for you to worry. Let's say I'm gonna use oat milk. This means I need kind of less temperature to taste better. I need more rotations for the milk to be foamier and silkier. It's just pre-programmed inside the BaristaMaker. So coming to the foaming options, you have a hot cappuccino, and basically at that point you will have a thick textured milk. It's still enough to draw some art, but it's like kind of the highest thickness with art ability. After that, you have a hot latte, sweet spot for beautiful latte art, well textured, nice milk. And you have a hot flat white. It's even thinner than a latte. So let's say like the thickest for art, hot cappuccino, a hot latte, and a hot flat white. After that, you can just hot thick foam if you want real thick foam, like the old days cappuccinos where they used to have a thick layer of foam on top, and underneath that like kind of watery milk or normal hot milk underneath that. And after that you have just cold thick foam. So depending on the mode that you set the foaming, the BaristaMaker will tell you which attachment to place. For a cappuccino, a latte, and a flat white, you will have this impeller which starts working by putting some air from the bottom from this mesh membrane and at the same time heating it. At the end, those impellers will start rotating, mixing all the milk in order to have that silky texture. If you just want normal foam, hot foam, or cold foam, you just place this foamer attachment. It will give you that thick foamy texture. And by the way, I love the space that they come to place your attachment at. So it's nice. Why? Because this piece by itself attaches magnetically to the milk pitcher, and at the same time with this holder they have a metal plate at the bottom, so they stick to it. They're not gonna fall anywhere. And it has small holes at the bottom in case if it was still wet, it will dry easily. So coming to the right section, where the BaristaMaker allows you to go full manual. If you, let's say, if you don't want to use it for milk, if you want to use it for other drinks, let's say a chocolate drink, cocoa powder, or even protein powder, which I was surprised by that. Additionally, you can set the speed at low or high, or you can set the temperature ranging from cold, 55 Celsius degrees, and up to 75 Celsius degrees. Jumping back to the pre-programmed latte art settings, we've tested the BaristaMaker with all kinds of milk: soy milk, almond milk, coconut milk, oat milk, also a whole milk and a zero lactose milk. And we were extremely happy with all these types of milk. It was super easy to use. You just pour your milk, you have the markings, they are super clear. You push start, 3.5 minutes. While you prepare your espresso shot, you will have the milk ready. No need to worry about how much air you've put into the milk, how much temperature you've reached. It's all pre-programmed, consistent, it's always there. So with whole milk, it was brilliant. The milk texture in each mode was up to the point. In a hot latte, it was the sweet spot. You can make those beautiful latte arts. Once you finish, if you bring a spoon, you swipe the top of the cup, you can see that the thickness of the layer on top is perfect, up to the point. With a flat white, it was even thinner, slightly less foamy, let's say. With a hot cappuccino, you're still able to do a latte art, but with a thicker milk. And with the hot cold milk, brilliant. With milk alternative, here it comes the part, it's a bit tricky. And to be fair towards DREO, they do provide you with a kind of good references for which companies to use milk. Because let's say for coconut milk, right now we couldn't be able to get the companies that DREO recommended for coconut milk, and we only ended up with one company that makes that milk. And it was the mixture that they used to make this coconut milk, it was not well, or let's say good for foaming friendly. No matter how much we tried steaming it with the BaristaMaker, there always we end up with a thick layer on top, and after that it's all watery milk. When we even took that milk to our espresso machine, the DREO Manis S, which we've been using for more than a year, and we love it so far, nothing to complain about. We made a review here, you can feel free to check. Even with DREO Manis S, we've pulled, and the steam power on that machine does not disappoint. Still, after finished steaming, tried to pull some art with that milk, we couldn't make it. So the important thing when you go to milk alternative is to make sure that you are using a good quality milk for steaming. Almond Milk, the company that we tried to use, it was a bit more of an oily milk, the almond version, but still we were able to make a decent latte art. And once again, the same case when we compare it with DREO Manis S espresso machine, the same situation we had, it was mainly because of that milk. After that, we will say oat milk. Generally speaking, oat milk is really the sweet spot. This is our personal opinion for milk alternatives. It's just sweet, delicious, mixes very well with coffee, super easy to make a beautiful latte art. We had same results when we compared it to a whole milk, either a latte mode, cappuccino mode, even cold foam. It was delicious. So if you are planning to try it with milk alternatives, we would really recommend to go with oat milk. And we noticed, regardless of the brand of the oat milk, they always get it on point. It's, let's say, more friendly to be foamed, and it's nice. It's enjoyable to taste. You feel that, like, that powdery texture of the oat milk mixes with coffee. The way the thick foam, it's consistent, silky texture. It has kind of more sweetness, of course, depending on the real milk that you are using, but with oat milk it also has more sweetness once it gets mixed and steamed. So that was perfect. Coming to the stir modes, we've tried it personally with protein powder for starter, because I was very curious about that mode, and it worked beautiful, right on point. And we tried matcha latte, iced matcha latte. Basically just pour normal milk, some ice, and you stir the matcha with it, pour it above that drink. Looks beautiful. Or additionally, if you add some syrups or honey, that will be right on point. Or if you want cocoa powder, some chocolate drinks, stir to that mixture, but make sure to place the lid in case anything that splashes out, and you are good to go. Now, in order to illustrate how well thought the BaristaMaker is, we're gonna compare it with two similar products in the market, the Nespresso Aeroccino 3 and the Nespresso Aeroccino 4. Both those milk frothers, they look nice, they fit the vibe of Nespresso and espresso machines. However, the style of the attachment that both these Aeroccinos using, it's good, but it's never good for a latte art foamed milk. So with both the Aeroccino 3 and Aeroccino 4, we tried it with whole milk, milk alternatives, oat milk, and regardless of the type of the milk, we were never able to achieve that silky steam texture milk, because the attachment itself, it's only able to create thick, foamy milk. It heats the milk fast and they foam the milk very well, but it's never a silky texture. It's always thick textured milk, and we, regardless of how many times we try to draw a latte art, we will never be able to do with the case of those two. Another point is the cleaning issue. So with the Aeroccinos, this is your heating vessel, let's say, and when you take the lid, you finish cleaning, you magnetically detach the attachment. Still, you want to wash this section. However, it's very tough to clean this section without letting some water go here. And in the end, if you want to do another foaming round, you have to make sure that everything's dry here from the bottom before placing it on the heating base. So that's a huge disadvantage for us, especially when we compare it to how we love the cleaning mechanism of the BaristaMaker. You just take the fin out, everything dishwasher safe if you want to really clean it. But in general, once you steam the milk, just underneath tap water, make sure everything's out, dry it, and you are good to go. So to wrap this video up, we really did enjoy the BaristaMaker. It's very practical, easy to use, and fun to use. You have endless amount of possibilities to test around cold drinks, hot milks, powdery milks, is the stirrer mode. And even though that we have an espresso machine, we enjoyed using it, because there's something about the automating steaming thing. You just pour the milk, push start, go brew your espresso shot. Within 3.5 minutes, you will have it ready. Well heated, well steamed, and you pour from the pitcher itself. The pitcher itself, it pours really well, because if you want like to perfect latte art, you have to search for special pitchers. This one, by default, we were able to do very nice latte arts using it. To be honest, did not expect it will be that good for a latte art, but we were really happy with the quality. The BaristaMaker is gonna be live on Kickstarter, so make sure to check the first link in the description below. Benefit from a huge discount on it. After that, if you want, you can use our discount code. And thanks to you for watching it. And look, as always, you are the judge. We've illustrated this machine, how well we've enjoyed using it, and how well it's able to perform. So you can make your decision. See you very soon in the next video. Bye. We have to briefly steam. You lift the milk pitcher, which contains the milk.
back in the day.